Viewers, hundreds and thousands of Hindus, some of whom are devout, have got a second setback from the Supreme Court in just a matter of weeks. A three-judge bench led by the Chief Justice of India pushed back the date for the Ram Mandir hearings by months altogether, saying the case wasn't a priority for the courts. The order, and you can see some of the wordings of that order on your screens, has crushed the hopes of a speedy resolution to a dispute that has been hanging fire in the judicial system for more than 120 years. The bench has come out and said that it will decide when to hear this case. It may be heard in January, February, March, whenever. It certainly isn't a priority for the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says we have our own priorities. Yes, viewers. Now, the court's decision to not prioritize the Ram Mandir case has drawn howls of protests from many leaders cutting across the saffron fold. Listen to this.
उच्चतम न्यायालय सरकार की ओर इशारा कर रहा है कि जब आप एससी एसटी पर कानून बना सकते हो तो राम मंदिर पर क्यों नहीं कानून बना देते हो। एक महीने के अंदर मैं 1 महीने का टाइम देता हूं, कानून बना के राम मंदिर यदि बीजेपी सरकार नहीं बना रही है तो मुझे आत्मदाह करने के लिए बाध्य होना पड़ेगा।
That the way to Ram Janmabhoomi temple does not lie in an eternal wait of the Supreme Court hearing. We have requested the union government to now bring in a legislation. This may be done in the winter session of Parliament.
देखिए, पहली बात आपको हम बता दें कि हम राम मंदिर के मुद्दे को चुनाव से नहीं जोड़ते, या बातचीत से हो जाए। और रविशंकर प्रसाद रामलला के वकील भी थे अयोध्या में, इलाहाबाद हाईकोर्ट में, आपको पता है, तो वहां से हम जीत चुके हैं। वहां फैसला हो चुका है, जो रामलला विद्यमान है जहां, वो हिंदुओं को मिलना चाहिए। अब दूसरी पार्टी सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे गई, बाकी लोग भी गए, तो बहुतों की अपेक्षा जल्दी सुनवाई होनी चाहिए।
इस आस्था के विषय में, श्रद्धा के विषय में कोर्ट का कोई काम नहीं है। तो राम मंदिर निर्माण अयोध्या में शुरू हो जाए, इसलिए जो सरकार है केंद्र में, उसने एक ऑर्डिनेंस निकालना चाहिए।
Now you heard all those demands, most of them focusing on bringing a bill or an ordinance. The decision by the Supreme Court to not treat the Ram Mandir issue as a priority case is raising eyebrows. There are many who are accusing the Supreme Court of ignoring what they call is Hindu Aastha. Now here are some hard facts which show that the court has demonstrated alacrity when it matters to certain petitioners, and most importantly when there are enough from the opposition that file cases to push along issues that matters to the opposition. Here are the hard facts. Urgent hearing was given to petitions by Romila Thapar and others to seek the release of suspected urban Naxals. We don't have to jog our memory back too far back in time. We know that just a few months ago, many people were commenting how Romila Thapar immediately got a date from the Supreme Court to present a matter, which in any way wasn't a life and death issue. There were also day-to-day hearings fixed to deliver judgment on the principle of privacy with respect to Aadhaar. And these day-to-day hearings were supported by opposition parties who are today quiet, deathly quiet. No one is siding with those who you just heard to push for an early resolution either through the court or perhaps bring an ordinance. The Supreme Court ensured justice to the LGBTQ community in just 5 years from the filing of a curative petition, while Ayodhya matter is still undecided after 8 years in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled in triple talaq within 2 years, and after 6-day marathon hearing during their summer vacations, they even decided to work through their summer vacations. Well, there are winter vacations coming up, Diwali break coming up. 29 days, I'm told, between the end of the year, working days, in which the Supreme Court could have perhaps met daily to listen to both the sides on this issue. Now, with the Supreme Court taking an unhurried view, the pressure is on the BJP totally to fulfill the hopes of Hindu bucks. And this is worrying, because when politics and political pressure mounts, then rash decisions can be made. Now, many people are questioning the BJP's own priorities. The NDA, viewers, you will remember, brought an ordinance on Jallikattu to placate Tamil sentiments. Within days of assuming office, it even brought in an ordinance to cement the places of two bureaucrats in their government. Ordinance brought on triple talaq issue to empower Muslim women. They even pressed for the amendment of the dilution in the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act to further appease the sentiments of Dalits and tribals. So you have a situation constantly, viewers, constantly, where political parties who think that they can actually gain immediately from a particular political context will move. Now, many questions arise, and I want to open this out this evening to our panel. Joining us on the show this evening is Amit Walia, spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Also with us, Raghav Avasthi, a lawyer, Syed Rizwan Ahmed, another lawyer, someone who knows a little bit about this case, Sudhindra Bhadoria, leader of the BSP. Also with us, Abdul Razak Khan, political analyst, looking very dapper tonight. And also, Dr. John Dayal. I want to ask a basic question, a very basic question today. One of those people who we just heard, Mr. Razak, said, why an eternal wait only for Hindu Aastha? Mr. Bhadoria, political parties routinely press governments, Mr. Bhadoria, routinely call on parties to push a particular issue either through parliament or through the court process. They seek early resolution because it matters. Why are parties such as yours today not standing with the larger Hindu community to demand an ordinance, perhaps, on this particular issue, or even early hearings? No words coming. Mr. Bhadoria, why?
Well, as far as the BSP is concerned, our firm faith is there in the Constitution of India as well as in the Supreme Court of India. Whatever the decision the Supreme Court takes and however it interprets the Constitution, they are the final authority. We also would expect from all governments, whichever be the party in power, that they will treat all citizens, all religious groups at power. One. Secondly, the Supreme Court, which is already hearing this matter, I think to put pressure on courts through debates or through rallies is not the right thing.
Mr.
We have
Bhadoria,
already seen.
when it came to the dilutions in the SC/ST Act by the Supreme Court itself, you put so much pressure on the government to go out and file an appeal.
Let me finish in 2 lines. Let me finish in 2 lines, Mr. Rahul Shivshankar. The Supreme Court was given an affidavit by the then Chief Minister of UP, Mr. Kalyan Singh, and they did not even respect that affidavit. They gave a false affidavit. They brought down the structure. I think this is a very serious matter. Every citizen matters. Every religious group matters. That is how a civil government, a democratic government functions. Let us not abrogate and let us not usurp the powers of
Mr.
the
Bhadoria,
Constitution.
let me ask you a counter question.
Can I
Bring
come
it
in
1
please
minute.
now?
1 minute, Mr. Avasthi. Chill. Relax. 30 seconds. Mr. Bhadoria, I want to bring you in here. Counter question from me. You said that your point of view, your party's point of view is to bring solutions forth within the ambit of the Constitution, right? That's what you said? And you will support every measure that is underwritten by the Constitution of India. That's what you said. Now, how is bringing an ordinance or a bill above and beyond the constitutional due process? Explain to me, sir. How is it an illegality?
I think there is a parliament. If the government of the day considers they have been in power for 4.5, 5 years, now on the eve of the poll, if they bring ordinances like this, then it will set a wrong precedent for the future that any government, whichever be the government, will use these kind of precedents and which will undermine the authority of the Supreme Court, and it will also do away with all the good which has been created by the Constitution of India.
Okay, ordinance route, bad one, Mr. Malviya. Or do you believe that there is a degree of duplicity in the stand the BSP is taking?
Well, Rahul, that's been the case with the opposition all along as far as the demand for Ram Temple is concerned. We recently heard Kapil Sibal say that the courts must not decide on the matter in view of the 2019 election, and I think the Congress and the rest of the opposition obviously fears that if a Ram Temple is built, it will in some ways embolden and strengthen the BJP, which is anyway the case because we have continuously espoused the cause of a Ram Mandir and we are unapologetic about it. In fact, we are absolutely convinced and committed to the fact that there should be a grand temple in Ayodhya, and we will work towards it. But the matter
you have the numbers.
It is being
the courts are not in a hurry.
Now,
for you, this issue, I'm sure, is a priority, Mr. Malviya. Why don't you move through the constitutional process? No one is asking you to sidestep it, bringing in a law or an ordinance, introducing a bill in the upcoming session, or even bringing an ordinance before and then getting it approved in Parliament is not above and beyond the constitutional process. Why don't you do it? You've done it in the past.
Oh, well, you know, all options are open, Rahul, but I just want to make a point which will just go beyond the immediate debate. If you look at the Allahabad High Court judgment, it very clearly says and establishes the fact that there was a Ram temple there, and it also establishes the fact that there are people from the Hindu community who rightfully have the claim to building a temple there. Now, the judgment of the Allahabad High Court unfortunately has split the land in the proportion of 2:3 in the favor of the Hindus. What the Supreme Court is now hearing is essentially a title dispute where they are going to look at the evidences which have been already put in full measure by the Allahabad High Court judgment, and they have to decide.
No, then why does Amit Shah, why does Amit Shah go around saying that we must have a Ram temple?
It will be a matter of days because the evidence is so overwhelming.
Sir, why does then Mr. Amit Shah go around saying that we must have a Ram temple in place? Why does he then rake up this spectre? If you're willing to wait for the courts and the courts are not prioritizing, then I'm sorry, either you are spinning a yarn
what I
and dangling a carrot.
It is a priority for us. We are committed to it.
Then bring an ordinance.
It's a matter of timing. We must be patient. We waited so long.
Patient for what?
We waited close to almost 500 years after
the
Ram temple.
You said, and let me quote you, sir.
Pulled down by the invaders, and we can still wait another 3
You
years
quoted
when the Supreme Court reconvenes and looks at the matter, and hopefully on priority this time.
Taking an ordinance will divide India into two.
Well, there he says, pass an ordinance and divide India into two. Mr. Awasthi wants to come in on this debate, and I want to open it out to the others. Mr. Awasthi, quick response.
I think the gentleman who's spoken about how an ordinance like this has the potential of dividing India into two is a textbook anti-national. The fact is that apart from the 270 odd members of the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, I don't think there is any Muslim in India who cares about whether the Babri Masjid stands at the very site upon which a Ram temple once stood. The Allahabad High Court's finding of fact is clear, and as Mr. Malviya said, I would like to add to it. The Supreme Court is not going to. The Supreme Court is only going to look up into questions of law. Questions of fact have been decided conclusively by the Allahabad High Court.
So wait for the
It is what the law is.
There should not be.
It is what the law is. The Supreme Court merely has to decide a couple of questions of law. Even if the Supreme Court doesn't decide, the government of India has the power of eminent domain. It has the power to acquire this land for the public purpose. And there can be no public purpose greater than the building of a grand Ram temple in Ayodhya, who is revered not just by Hindus but by Muslims from
John Dayal, I want to get to the heart of this. I want to get to the heart of this. How many more hundreds of years are we going to have to wait? This case has already been part. 1 second, Mr. Razak. Okay, calm down. Let's not get swept up. Relax. 1 minute. 1 second. Relax. Both of you relax, please. Look, this case has been languishing in our judicial system for 150 years.
After the Allahabad High Court order of 2010,
Sir,
both parties
Sir.
accepted
Sir.
that there should be either two ways.
Sir.
One, either saints and the religious leaders sit across tables,
Sir,
come to amicable
bringing in
settlement,
an ordinance
which
or a
does
bill is
happen.
not
Threaten
it's not anti-constitutional. You know it very well. There have been bills that have been brought home, that have been brought in to overturn Supreme Court judgments in the past. When it suited you, Shah Bano was okay.
Wait for Supreme Court.
Oh, come on, Mr. Razak. When it suited you, Shah Bano was okay. You didn't think about institutional autonomy then. You didn't think about the balance between the organs of the state then. At that time, it was only about interest, narrow political interest. So let's not today try to spin viewers around here. Please, 1 minute. I want to bring in Mr. John Dayal. Mr. John Dayal, I want to ask you, sir. Opposition comes out, badgers the government to bring an ordinance. When it came to the SC/ST Act, which was diluted by the Supreme Court, come on, they said to the government, overturn it, bring in an ordinance, go there, file a review petition. That's okay. That's okay. But the opposition will ignore the priorities of hundreds and thousands of Hindus. Why? Why, sir?
No, the opposition.
Because it doesn't suit them.
The opposition.
Because it helps them consolidate votes against this government, because it's become competitive, because, sir, they don't want any credit to go to this government.
Much, 90% of the opposition is about as Hindu as the 100%.
Precisely, but it doesn't help them here.
BJP. But let me get 2 points clear.
It doesn't help them. I'll tell you why it doesn't help them. Because it comes down to credit. They want to take the credit.
Sir, you in your kindness asked me to talk. There is a Ram temple at the spot. It's a story and a half tall.
It's a pathetic excuse, sir. Please.
Since 6th
It's a
of
pathetic
December.
excuse.
Hold
Have
on.
you seen it?
I
I've seen
cannot
it.
see a way.
Have you seen
where
it? I've
will go
seen
away.
it. Now, please.
Whatever the Supreme Court decides.
Ram Lalla doesn't have a roof over his head. Don't mock.
I cannot see a way that it is going to go away, irrespective of whatever the Supreme Court decides.
Okay.
So let's get that out of the way. What Mr. Shah and the others are saying is, whatever the Supreme Court decides, we are going to go ahead. We're doing that. And let me tell you one thing, since you've been harping on it for a very long time.
No.
The Supreme Court has upheld the rights of the minorities to exist as minorities. But having said that, most major decisions of the Supreme Court in the last 70 years
Awasthi wants to
have eroded the rights of the minorities.
Mr. John,
please.
I can tell you, I noted them down just on the issue of the rights of Christians.
There is no fundamental right under the Constitution to worship at a site and build a mosque at a place where a temple once stood. There is no fundamental right, unlike you have in the Constitution. The second thing I am saying is this.
I am challenging the argument
that
the Supreme Court
is showing disrespect that there is, since there is no Supreme Court judgment right now, an ordinance can be passed.
No.
No Supreme
So you're saying the Supreme Court is showing disrespect?
It is
You're saying
merely a continuation of the title proceedings that is going on.
I'm not saying
The
anything.
government can
I am not
use its
saying
powers of
anything.
eminent domain.
Hindu
The
Aastha is not a
government can use its
priority.
powers of eminent
For the
Is the
domain.
Supreme
claim
Court.
that is being made?
Is
The claim that is being made by several people who are today
They're all wrong.
attacking.
I am saying most of the Supreme
Please,
Court.
1 minute, 1 second.
That's the biggest
Let me bring in Sayyid Rizwan Ahmed. It's very important that we make one important interjection here. Times Now is not trying to suggest that the Supreme Court is ignoring Hindu Aastha. We are only quoting several people who are disappointed today by this particular order. And let's play out those bites, and I want to come out to Mr. Rizwan Ahmed right after that. Let's play out those bites, original bites of a large number of Hindus, some of who are devout followers who want the Ram Mandir constructed. These are 4 bites. Listen to them. They're blaming the BJP and they're disappointed with the courts. I have no control over their emotions. Play this out.
उच्चतम न्यायालय सरकार की ओर इशारा कर रहा है कि जब आप SC/ST पर कानून बना सकते हो तो राम मंदिर पर क्यों नहीं कानून बना देते हो। 1 महीने के अंदर मैं 1 महीने का टाइम देता हूं, कानून बना के राम मंदिर यदि बीजेपी सरकार नहीं बना रही है तो मुझे आत्मदाह करने के लिए बाध्य होना पड़ेगा।
That the way to Ram Janmabhoomi temple does not lie in an eternal wait of the Supreme Court hearing. We have requested the union government to now bring in a legislation. This may be done in the winter session of Parliament.
देखिए, पहली बात आपको हम बता दें कि हम राम मंदिर के मुद्दे को चुनाव से नहीं जोड़ते, या बातचीत से हो जाए। और रविशंकर प्रसाद राम लल्ला के वकील भी थे अयोध्या में, इलाहाबाद हाईकोर्ट में, आपको पता है, तो वहां से हम जीत चुके हैं। वहां फैसला हो चुका है, जो राम लल्ला विद्यमान है जहां, वो हिंदुओं को मिलना चाहिए। अब दूसरी पार्टी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गई, बाकी लोग भी गए, तो बहुतों की अपेक्षा जल्दी सुनवाई होनी चाहिए।
इस आस्था के विषय में, श्रद्धा के विषय में कोर्ट का कोई काम नहीं है। तो राम मंदिर निर्माण अयोध्या में शुरू हो जाए, इसलिए जो सरकार है केंद्र में, उसने एक ऑर्डिनेंस निकालना चाहिए।
There you heard it. Sanjay Raut, amongst others, saying that the court has no role in arbitrating a matter of faith. Now, Sayyid Rizwan Ahmed, there have been many instances when ordinances have been brought in or bills have been brought in to try and open up other routes. What is your view on this? What is your view on this? Should the opposition back such a route?
Okay. Number one, Anand, the Honorable Supreme Court has sanctioned to decide anything which it reaches its wisdom.
Yes.
But Honorable Supreme Court, with all the conviction and maturity which I can muster and command, Honorable Supreme Court has no right to delay a proceeding without a plausible reason, and giving a reason that we have important priorities. I am sorry to say the Honorable Supreme Court should not have made this utterance. It goes, the 130 crore Indians have got a setback, number one. Number two, it is time to understand how this nation works.
You should not be talking
The
like this.
people who are chanting about
You
Supreme
should have
Court,
the
let me
highest
tell
respect
them,
for the highest
let
court.
me tell them, my name is Rizwan, let me complete.
Rizwan, you are a lawyer,
The nation,
and you should have the
the
highest
Supreme
respect
Court
for
falls
the highest
within,
court.
yeah, my name
You
is
should
Rizwan,
not be
man.
talking like this.
Why are you talking in between? Why? When you talk,
I
when
am
your tongue
saying
comes
you
now,
should have
why?
some respect for the Supreme Court. You are a lawyer yourself.
Mr.
Will
Razak,
you
let him
keep
speak.
your- will
You
you
should
keep
respect
quiet?
the Supreme
Will you
Court.
keep quiet?
Mr. Razak, let him
Will you
speak.
keep quiet?
Let's show him.
Will you
Let's
keep
show him
quiet?
common decency. Common decency and courtesy.
Anand.
Please, come on. Yes.
Anand,
Mr. Rizwan, this is Rahul Shivshankar.
Anand,
This is Rahul
the
Shivshankar,
Supreme
Mr. Rizwan.
Court-
Go ahead.
Rahul, not Anand.
Go ahead.
the Supreme Court falls within the ambit of Constitution. The Constitution falls within the ambit of preamble, and the preamble falls under the ambit of we the people, and we the people is Parliament. The route to temple has to come through Parliament, be it BJP or be it Congress. And let me tell you, very interesting, Mr. Anand, maybe in future Congress will bring a law for a temple, because Congress knows how to befool Muslims better than BJP. So the route of this
On that
temple
one
is
would
through
agree.
Parliament
On that,
and not Supreme
I think
Court.
many would
Mr.
agree with
Razak, Mr. Razak, you are today in alliance with the Congress party. Mr. Sibbal says, let's delay this till after the elections. Is that the plan? Is that the plan, sir? That they're going to befool you? They're going to use
Not
you?
a plan. Come on, Rahul. October 3, Lordship Ranjan Gogoi took over as the Chief Justice of India. It's not been 25 days, and all the 10 days he was busy with CBI. He, as a new Chief Justice, will require some time to form the new bench or to look into the case. It really takes time. Come on, both the parties accepted that we will abide by the Supreme Court order. So why is each and every leader of the BJP, VHP, RSS jittering today? Why can't they wait for 2 more months? Let them wait. Let the court take an order.
No, 1 second.
Let
Mr.
everyone
Razak, it's
accept
not about
that
waiting
yes,
for 2 more
whatever
months.
Supreme Court
It's
decides,
not about
we
waiting
will
for 2
also
more months.
accept.
In
Can I
January,
make a
and we don't have a
observation,
date right now,
Mr.
in January, the court will decide whether there will be daily hearings, when the next date will be, if there is going to be one in the next few months, if it is, who is going to sit in judgment of that case, all the modalities will be worked out. This could drag on for another 4 or 5 years.
Can I?
This could drag on. So, All I'm saying today,
just a
when other matters,
Can
when
I
other
make
matters
a
are
small,
drawn, no, one second.
interjection?
When other matters
Maybe
reach the
before
courts,
elections.
when they are resolved very quickly to suit the interest
Mr.
of
Rahul
A or B,
Shivshankar, there
then
is
what
a
about
long
this?
panel. I want to make a small
Mr. Bhadoria,
interjection.
why is Hindu Aastha not a priority for the opposition? Simple question. What's the issue? One second, Mr. Bhadoria.
I think Aastha is very important and every citizen should practice his or her Aastha as they want. But I am seeing that in the last few weeks, there is a euphoria being created by the present party which is in power. I see Mr. Amit Shah going to
Bhadoria, you
Kannur
said Jai
and he
Shri
is
Ram.
making a casting
Why don't
aspersions
you
on
say
the
Jai
Supreme
Shri Ram?
Court decisions. On
What
the
is your
Sabrimala,
Aastha?
he cast aspersions.
The people
he
of
says
India are
that they
asking
have
you.
no faith in
Why
the
can't you shout Jai Shri Ram for us?
What are they asking
Show
me?
us
I'm
what
here
your
to answer.
Aastha is.
I am saying that
You have
heaven
no
will
Aastha.
not fall. Wait for some time. The Supreme Court
You
has said.
have
Otherwise,
sold
the
your
Parliament
soul.
will meet in November.
You have sold
What is-
your
what is
soul.
so-
You are a sellout,
Is
sir.
the heavens?
Why
are
don't you
the heavens
shout
going
Jai
to
Shri Ram
fall?
for us now?
Wait, in November,
do
the
it.
Parliament is meeting.
Yes.
That on
It has
in
been
January,
a
this is
really
going
long
to
wait,
be
sir.
there. The Supreme
Tonight-
Court
Okay,
is
one
hearing.
second, one
Don't
second. Have to walk the
create
talk.
this kind of
Tonight you
pressure.
must say Jai
Which
Shri
is
Ram.
wrong, and for future, I can promise
No,
you, Rahul
there is no
Shivshankar,
pressure.
you will also
No.
repent. There will be a
Please,
change in
I'm so
government.
sorry.
If not now,
Under
sooner.
the garb
then
of
you will repent
constitutionalism,
that we
these
created
people
a
are
situation
indulging in
where we
anti-Hindu
gave all
politics.
this kind of
They
euphoria
say
in the
vote bank
country
politics
and which will
of
lead
the
to
worst order.
the disrespect to the
These are
Constitution
based
and the Supreme
and
Court.
vile
Okay, one
politicians.
second.
They
This is a
have
very,
no
this is a very strange
place in
one.
our polity.
Let me bring in, one second. Let me bring in Mr. Razak. Mr. Razak, and I want to bring in Amit Malviya. Amit Malviya, there is a degree of skepticism. Dr. John Dayal, degree of skepticism amongst many people. You bring in an ordinance or you bring in a bill, you're disrespecting the Constitution. Mr. Razak, how can bringing a bill through Parliament disrespect the Constitution? That is the most constitutional manner, some would say.
Not Constitution, Supreme Court. Disrespecting the Supreme Court.
Well, tell Mr.
The majority
Bhadoria
is
that-
trying to play over the minority.
No, why?
We
What
have to
happened? No,
look
come
into
on. What
all
happened in
aspects.
Shahbano
In
case?
the law-
What happened in the
said that
atrocities
November
on
the Parliament
SC/ST
is
Prevention
meeting.
Act case?
Why are you in such a big hurry?
1 minute.
In November, the
I want to
Parliament
ask you-
is meeting. What is the hurry?
Because, sir, this issue will remain on our sides and it will continue to divide communities. It should be resolved. Now, whether it's resolved through consensus or through a law or through the courts, it must be
Certainly,
resolved
let
once
it
and
be
for all.
resolved.
India
Let
needs to move
Parliament
on.
and the
India
Supreme
needs
Court
to move on.
decide about
500
it.
years, we have been
The
sitting
time now
here.
cannot decide
No,
it.
we have been
Let the
sitting
Supreme
here.
Court or
One
the
second.
Parliament decide
Whether it
about
should be
it.
built or not, where it should be built,
No,
by
the
who it
times
should be
now
built,
cannot
this
decide.
needs to be
Let the
settled.
Parliament
India needs
and
to
the
move
Supreme
on.
Court
We need to
decide.
unite in a common purpose. And I want to ask you, Amit Malviya, why is your government not bringing in
But
an ordinance
Rahul-
or a bill? Resolve this.
Rahul-
I'll tell you something.
Rahul, give me
In
one
1996, 1 minute, in 1996, the Ram Mandir issue found a mention in your manifesto. You said we reiterate our commitment to facilitate the construction of a magnificent Ram temple at Janamsthan in Ayodhya on coming to power. As this dream moves millions of people in our land, the concept of Ram lies at the core of their consciousness. In 98, the BJP is committed to facilitate the construction of magnificent Sri Ram Mandir at Ram Janamsthan in Ayodhya, where makeshift temple already exists. Sri Ram lies at the core of Indian consciousness. The BJP will explore all consensual, legal and constitutional means to facilitate the construction of Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Again in 2004, one line, only one line. The BJP reaffirms its commitment. Viewers, the Supreme Court has dashed the hopes of lakhs of believers when it has come out and said that constructing the Ram temple in Ayodhya is not on their priority list. It says we have our own priorities, which means it can be safely said that the Ram temple will not be built before the 2019 general elections, thereby belying once again a promise that was made by the Bharatiya Janata Party in its constitution, that it would explore all, and I'm reading this out, all possibilities within the framework of the constitution to facilitate the construction of the Ram temple in Ayodhya. One avenue was through the courts. That is collapsed. That leaves it with Parliament. Are we going to see an ordinance, Mr. Amit Malviya, or is this a jumla? Have you been fooling Hindus since 1996? The charge is being made by the Shiv Sena, it's being made by some of your MPs, it is being made by some of the affiliates of the Sangh, and you also have the RSS chief telling you to get on with it. So what are you going to do?
Well, Rahul, the matter as far as the Ram Janmabhoomi is concerned has been in the courts for a very long time. We are quite close to a final decision by the Supreme Court, and as we have seen, the Allahabad High Court
what basis
judgment
are you
has
saying
settled
close?
matters of fact that there was a Ram temple.
How is it close when the court said it's not a priority?
Well, because it's a matter of 3 weeks when the Supreme Court reconvenes after its vacation, and
3
we are
weeks?
hopeful that
3
they will
months, you
look
mean?
at this matter on priority and will give their decision.
Mr. Malviya,
because
you're
the
clutching at
Allahabad High
straws,
Court judgment
or you are
has put
you're
the
clutching
facts
at
out there
straws,
very clearly,
or you are once again
and there
misleading
is
the
an
public.
interpretation of law.
No,
on
no, no.
few
Many
matters
people
that
are
the
saying
Supreme
this is a
Court has
jumla.
to,
This is a
look
complete
into.
jumla.
And therefore it could be a very short hearing.
How can it
and
be?
we remain hopeful
How
that
can it
Supreme
be?
Court will take
Reams and reams of
priority
evidence
view on
has to
it.
be
But having
examined.
said that,
It
all
has to be
options are there on the
translated.
table. We remain convinced and committed about the fact that there
No,
should be a
you are-
temple, and we will see that it becomes
You
a
are
reality.
misleading, sir. Let me tell you what the issue is. The issue is that reams and reams of documents that run into 3 lakh pages have to be translated into English, also from both Hindi and Urdu. 90,000 pages are in Persian, Urdu, Sanskrit itself, and they have been translated, taken years altogether. 50 parties, petitioners as well as respondents need to be heard. Now that can't happen overnight. And also it took Allahabad High Court 21 years to hear the case and give a
Allahabad High
verdict.
Court has looked at all these evidences. They have heard all sides. The Supreme Court has to look at it in terms of law. They
Okay.
are not going to go into evidences as is
I'm
quite
asking you,
obvious from
if in
what's
January,
happening. And
sir,
the matter's been
if in
Supreme
January the
for 8
court
years,
doesn't
they
commit to
must have
daily
done all
hearings,
this work that
no,
you are
1 minute.
pointing out too.
If in January the court doesn't commit to daily hearings, if it doesn't give you the modalities in black and white, will you bring in an ordinance? Simple question. Simple question.
Well, answer to that simple question is that we are absolutely committed about seeing a Ram temple there, and we will exercise every possible option available to us within the framework of the constitution to see that it happens.
It's as clear as day. The BJP is holding out hope. January is the point when it's going to wait. Now, Abdul Razak, I want to ask you, if the BJP decides that the time has come for a law or an ordinance, will you back him? Will you back the BJP? Simple.
No, definitely not. Rahul, after the 2010 Allahabad High Court verdict, we had 2 options in our way. Either to do it by consensus with both the religious heads of both the religions sitting across tables and coming to amicable settlement, which did not happen. The Muslims of the country were threatened by Pandit Ravi Shankar, the founder of Art of Living, by saying that India will become a Syria. And if you look at the kind of statements coming in from the BJP, the RSS, the VHP, the Bajrang Dal, everybody is trying to threaten today. Even on national television you could have heard. Come on, this is not the constitutional way. Let the court decide.
No, but going through Parliament is constitutional, it's valid.
Each and every
going through Constitution, going through Parliament is constitutional and valid.
What the Supreme Court gives out.
Is it not?
Even if it goes our way
Is it
or
not?
against, we will accept the Supreme Court verdict.
I'm not sure, sir, because in the past you have not accepted verdicts that have gone against your way. So we understand that. We've understood it.
But this time, everyone of
there
us
is no,
has
sir, your
given
track
a word,
record is
even
very,
Muslim
very
Personal Law
poor.
Board,
Very, very
the Sunni
poor.
Waqf
I'm
Board,
only asking
each
you,
and
what is
every leader
unconstitutional
has
about
said,
bringing in a
let there
bill?
be a Supreme Court verdict.
Answer me this question. What is unconstitutional about bringing in a bill? Tell me. What is unconstitutional?
The politics that is being played out to gain electoral and politically is absolutely unacceptable.
Sir, you have checks and balances. In the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, you have no.
What
a bill
happened?
will be brought in.
What
it
happened?
will be examined by a parliamentary panel. If it's referred to one, the process must begin. What is unconstitutional about passing a legislation.
But
Simple
that would be once
question.
again challenged, Rahul.
What?
Rahul, even if you bring in a bill or an ordinance, that can be challenged in the Supreme Court.
That's what I'm
This
saying.
will once
So why
again
not
delay
explore?
the
Why not
process.
come up with a
So let
fair...
there be a Supreme
No,
Court
no, why
verdict.
can't we come up with a fair, well-intentioned, purposeful law? I'm asking you this. Why resist any attempt at trying to evolve a consensus?
There will
What
be
better
a
way
lot
than
of
involving a
heartburn
consensus
like
in Parliament where the
Hindus
will of the
this
people is
country
reflected?
Who have
We, the
said
people of India.
that Ram was born at that place, the Lord was born at that place. The same way, even Muslims have their faith that there stood a masjid which was brazenly brought down by the RSS, by the BJP.
Mr. Razak, this will go through Parliament, where a bill will be discussed threadbare, where the legal implications will be examined threadbare. What is so wrong? It's certainly not it's not unconstitutional, and if the bill
But
is
it
wrong
will be
in
like
law,
the
it will be challenged in the
majority is
Supreme Court.
suppressing the minority in this country.
Okay, let me
Then
open
it
this
will
out.
not be
30
a
seconds more.
democratic
One
decision. It will
quick
not be a
response
constitutional
from the
decision.
rest. Let's examine this.
Second, I want to rebut
no,
this
1 minute.
person.
Let me bring in 1 second, sir.
Rahul.
No, that's not. Let me bring in Syed Saab. Syed Saab, tell me, what's wrong with bringing in a law? Syed Rizwan Ahmed.
Rahul,
Yes.
Rahul, let me rebut the person who was speaking, and please ask him to be quiet till I am speaking.
Of course.
This is very unfortunate that the birthplace
But if
of
you
Lord
speak
Ram is being
against the
contested in the
community-
Supreme Court. This is my goodness, why this person speaks? What is wrong with this person?
We've lowered his fader now. You carry on.
Rahul, the birthplace of Ram is being contested in the Supreme Court. This is the most unfortunate outcome of the doctrine of secularism in this country. The most unfortunate outcome. And this epitomizes the Muslim arrogance. And let me tell you, the way they are saying that we will listen to the Supreme Court, they are saying only because they know that the government will not appease them. If it would have been the UPA government, they would never say that they will respect the Supreme Court, because they would have known that the government will appease them. This is the double standard.
Muslim arrogance charge, sir, Mr. Razak, is being made by Syed Saab, by Syed Rizwan Ahmed, who's also a lawyer. Razak Saab, can you hear me? Mr. Razak, he's accusing you of Muslim arrogance,
Yes,
harboring a
yes,
Muslim
Rahul.
arrogance. That is what Syed Saab is saying. Syed Rizwan Ahmed is accusing you.
No, Rahul, it is not arrogant. For 300 years there stood a masjid. Now if you look at the Ramcharitmanas written by Tulsidas, it says that Bhagwan Ram was born at the banks of Sarayu river. If you look at Valmikiji's Ramayana, even Ramayana of Valmikiji mentions that Bhagwan Ram was born at the banks of Sarayu, which is the Kali river now. So it has a long difference. Even if we go by the word that Bhagwan Ram was born there at that masjid where the Babri Masjid stood, let there be a Supreme Court decision. If the
Mr.
present
Awasthi.
government goes ahead with an ordinance, there will definitely be unrest in the country.
Mr. Awasthi,
He doesn't understand the law.
it's
That
not
is the
arrogance,
problem.
it's principle. He
the
said,
minority.
Do not underestimate the
Because
nerve of 100
No,
crore
he doesn't
Hindus.
understand
Do
the
not
law.
underestimate
The
it.
fact is that for the Hindus of
Okay,
this
relax.
country, the
about our
Ayodhya,
faith?
the temple at
What about-
Ayodhya is as important as the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem for the Muslims. If they are unwilling, the Muslims in Palestine
that,
or
more
even
than
throughout
that.
the world are unwilling to let go of the site on which the Al-Aqsa Mosque is situated. Similarly, the Hindus are unwilling to let go of the Ayodhya site as well, where the Ram temple is believed to have stood. Now there is enough archaeological evidence that there was indeed a Ram temple below the ruins of the disputed structure. There is a Ram temple below the ruins of the disputed structure. Enough pillars have been found. Now the choice for the Muslims of India is one that is binary in nature. On the one hand, they can choose to insist, like Mr. Razak is doing, on worshipping at a place, at a mosque which was built upon the demolition of religious place that belonged to another religion, or they can magnanimously give up the claim to the site that is in dispute and a mosque can be built nearby, which I think is the most reasonable course of action. But politicians like Mr. Razak are not interested in peace. They want to keep these fires burning.
Mr.
Because
Razak,
they want to
I'm sorry
keep
to say,
indulging in their vote bank politics. But I'm
you
sure
are siding
the
today with
incumbent
the
government will
political
call their
party.
bluff.
No, Mr. Razak, listen to me. You see, Mr. Razak, there is a suspicion building. I'll tell you why. Because today you are siding with a political party or an ally of a political party called the Congress party that tried to divide Hindus in Karnataka, for which an apology has been tendered by a top Congress minister,
Rahul,
D.K.
it was
Shivkumar.
not a division of
No,
the
I want to play
religion,
out that
it was a
soundbite. I'm going to pull it out.
Minority tag being accorded to the Lingats.
No, Mr. Razak, I only want to ask you this. Dividing Hindus, frustrating them, is that constructive politics, and since when is that constitutional? I want to ask you this.
It was asked by the Veerashaivas for decades together.
Sir, many people ask for many things.
Minority status.
Many people ask for many things. Amit Malviya will come in and testify to
government
this.
did not
Why
divide.
Amit Malviya? If the Veerashaivas were
Please
demanding
don't
this,
mistake.
why were you so
The
opposed to
Congress
it,
government
Mr. Amit
did not
Malviya?
divide the Hindus. It
Let
was
the BJP
asked by-
respond. You are
Well,
you don't
if the
you don't
Veerashaivas
want,
were
Mr. BJP
demanding
Amit
it,
Malviya, you
the
don't want
Congress
to
government
give
in
Veerashaivas
alliance
what they
with
want. You
JDS
don't
has
want to
gone
give the
completely
Hindus what they
quiet on
want.
that matter now in Karnataka. So obviously it was opportunist. It was meant to divide the Hindu vote in Karnataka, and that's exactly what the Congress and the rest of the opposition have been doing. And now you see Rahul Gandhi and the others temple hopping because they realize that the Hindus have seen through their minoritism, which they had camouflaged as secularism, and therefore their brand of secularism is today a dying, it's slow
Is that
death.
a fact?
The fact of the matter
Doctor,
is,
I do not
Rahul, that
think Hindus
the
vote, all
aspirations
of
and
them,
hopes of
on lines
100
of
crore
religion.
Hindus
I agree with you.
cannot be
If they did,
denied
BJP would get
forever. And the time has
547
come
seats.
That's the
when
reason why they
these
buried it.
matters are looked
Page
at
41.
dispassionately
We-
and Hindus are given their
Hindus
right to
do not
worship
vote as
in the
Hindus.
place that they
And
wish to
thank
build
God
a
for
Ram
that.
temple.
Okay,
Thank
one
God
second.
for that.
I want to ask you,
I
then why
would-
is Rahul Gandhi temple hopping, Doctor?
I would like-
Dr. John Dayal, you need to take a position. Then
I
is
am
Rahul
taking-
Gandhi making the biggest mistake by doing what he does, wearing his Janu, parading it around, temple hopping?
I think
What's he trying to do?
It is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I would like a temple to be built.
Do you
with the
believe
least-
dividing? Do
with
you
the
believe
least
dividing the
bla-
Hindus
with
was
the
a good
le-
thing to have done in
There
Karnataka?
is
Was
no
it constitutional?
division. Anybody can break away. Buddha broke away from Hinduism. Jesus broke away from Jews. Breaking away from a religion is not a crime. That's how new religions are formed. That is how Sikhism was
It's
formed.
not about that.
Is how,
It's about- it's
so,
about-
No. So do not, we were on a good argument. Do not say anybody is trying to divide. Point is, can we have what
I
we
think
have?
Mr. John
with the
Dayal is
least-
making a pitch for conversion, and he is
I
justifying
would like
that
to
quite
convert you
slyly, I
to
must
sanity,
say.
my friend. I would like to convert you to sanity, to constitutionalism, to peace.
Okay,
to an end
constitutionalism.
to-
Do you
to
think
an
bringing
end-
a
Well,
bill
Mr.
on an
John
ordinance is
Dayal, leave me
anti-constitutional?
alone
Totally
and leave the
constitutional.
Hindus
Then-
of
then
this
what are you
country
getting about?
alone. They're
To-
doing pretty
then what
much
are you- what are
fine
you
without
talking
your
about?
intervention and
to
without your
shed
benevolence.
Those ugly faces.
No, 1 second.
Those ugly faces that were ranting, that we saw. I want an end to that.
Listen to
sort of
this.
frothing.
This is DK. This is DK. This is DK Shivkumar. Do we have his soundbite, Nizam bhai? Let's play. Apologizing for trying to divide Hindus. This is a Congress minister. Listen to him. Listen to him. Viewers, listen.
ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ದೊಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ತಪ್ಪನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನಾನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಕೂಡ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವರು, ರಾಜಕೀಯದವರು, ನಾವು ಧರ್ಮದ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ, ಜಾತಿಗಳ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕೂಡ ಕೈ ಹಾಕಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅಪರಾಧ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಅಪರಾಧ. ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೆ. ಬೇಕಾದ ಜನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರುಗಳು ವಿಭಿನ್ನವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡುದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೈ ಹಾಕಬಾರದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನಡೆದಂತ ಅನೇಕ ಜನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವೇ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ.
No government should interfere. There should be no politics over religion. That's what the Congress said. A big, tall minister in the Karnataka government that is shared by Mr. Razak and his party coming out and saying we made a big mistake We won't do it. And I'm asking you, this is an admission. He said it's an aparad. He used the word aparad, crime. Doctor, I'm asking you.
Where was he saying
I'm asking you.
He's saying it in another religious meeting.
He's not saying it in a religious
did
meeting.
We not see the
no, please, sir. Let's not.
Don't
be a sophist.
Look at the
Don't be a sophist. What colors? He's speaking in a public rally. For God's sakes, accept the facts as they appear before you. No one is construing this out of nowhere. We showed you the proof, the visual. The man is apologetic. Now I'm asking you, how long will the opposition try to divide communities, to try and win a vote here and a vote there? That's the question, Mr. Razak. How long will you do it?
You this.
How long will you do it?
It is triple talaq or that man accusing me of conversion. I want to convert you.
Viewers,
but whether
I will have to wrap this up.
No, triple talaq was an appeasement of the Hindus. It was not to assist.
And what about Shah Bano? What about Shah Bano?
That also.
Of whom? Of whom?
That was
of conservative Muslims. Don't make this about Hindus and Muslims, for God's sake.
What else is it about?
Doctor,
what else is it
stop
about?
It. Stop it.
About that.
Stop it. Please.
No,
let's today put India first.
BJP
we need resolution.
Excuse
me. I need to wrap up this show. We need resolution, viewers. This matter, which is trundled out from under mattresses every time an election comes close to us, is used as bait. True. One side to bait the Muslims, one side to bait the Hindus. The time has come when this jumlabazi should end. Either side, BJP, Congress, what have you, end the jumlabazi. Get on with it. If the courts are going to take their sweet time, then the time has come when you pass an ordinance now or a bill, bring it in. That's perhaps the best thing to do. Bring a bill, discuss it threadbare, pass it in 2 sessions of parliament, or if it doesn't pass, then wait eternally for the Supreme Court. But end the jumlabazi. Take a stand. India expects at least that much from you. How long are we going to vote on whether Ram Lalla should be where he is or is not? When are we going to start voting about jobs, about the air we breathe, the water we drink, and issues that actually determine our fate? Think about it. We leave it at that. The news are follows.